So brand new spring football league that we got going on. And the question is, ladies and gentlemen, will the USFL last? I'll give you my answer to that right after I tell you some of the innovative stuff that they're doing. But before I get into all that, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you're tuning in right now, press that like button. Make sure you're sharing this to your friends. If you're not following this on Instagram at TPUSA Breakaway, press subscribe on YouTube. Ring, ding, 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 that bell. Press on that. You'll get notified with all our great content. We're pushing out shorts. We're pushing out YouTube clips. We got live shows on Wednesday. We got exclusive interviews on Sundays. Please don't miss that. We're also on Apple and Spotify. Leave a 5-star review. Follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, USFL. So they got a North Division and a South Division. They got teams from Michigan. They got the Michigan Panthers, New Jersey Generals, Philadelphia Stars, Pittsburgh Maulers, and in the South Division, we got Birmingham Stallions, Houston Gamblers, New Orleans Breakers, and the Tampa Bay Bandits. And look at some of these coaches here. You got Coach Todd Haley. You got Coach Jeff Fisher. You got some legends from the NFL that are a part of this league right now, and I think it has a lot of potential. And a reason why I think this might have some longevity is because I think this is happening at an opportune time. I think especially when you have just the first and second round of the NBA playoffs. You're probably going to see once again, we were talking about earlier in the show, if you guys are just tuning in right now, about how some of these series just might go and be a sweep. It's not very enticing basketball, so it's a pretty good time for the USFL to jump in. The NHL regular season is wrapping up. I know we got a lot of people that are not that into the NHL, but I know with ESPN now taking over some of those broadcasts, I think the popularity of that has gone up a little bit. MLB, early in the season, I don't think a lot of people tune in that much. There's a lot of people that just like watching the tail end of the MLB season, or maybe around the All-Star break when things start wrapping up in the second half. This is a good time. But something I've really loved about the USFL is what's going to set you apart from the NFL. Because the NFL is big business. It's the most popular sport in America right now. So if you don't have the same amount of talent, what's going to make the broadcast fun? What's going to make some of these players enticing? Because people want to have that rough, gritty, big personalities, an innovative way to watch football and have something that can be there for them before the NFL comes up. Because the USFL is never going to have those big players like Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes. You're not going to have the Joey B's. You're not going to have these big-time players. But how do you make the most out of this broadcast? So something they're doing is they got a helmet cam. They got 2 players from each team that have a camera in their helmet. So it gives you a great little view of what's going on in the action. You feel like you're literally wearing a VR headset. And when I was watching it this last weekend, because you might be thinking, John, like, where did the USFL come from? They just had their first weekend, and I was interested because I really like the XFL. And I'm going to talk about the comparison of that in just a little bit. But the helmet cam makes it fun. You feel like you're in it. I don't know if anybody remembers I know the producers might back there, remember the Michael Vick experience? You guys remember when there was that commercial? Mike Vick, one of the most electric players in the history of the NFL, the history of football. There was this commercial where you were basically strapped into this roller coaster ride, and it was like VR, and you're running around first person like you're Michael Vick. That's what it feels like when you're watching the USFL. I think that's been great. A video we're going to show you right now is the Skycam. So that gives you another little perspective, and you're in the action here. So every USFL game has 2 Skycams broadcasting. There is an aspect of you need to see good play on the field, and most of these games have been fairly close. But when you see a big play, what's going to be a different perspective that we're not seeing in the NFL? So we're going to throw up this video here about how near the goal line there was a fumble and then taking it to the house. So you're seeing that on your screen right now. I mean, we'll get into the quarterback play. That was pretty subpar. But look at this. This is from the USFL official Twitter account. What a fun way to watch football. You literally feel like you're that second defender that's trying to catch up to the guy that just picked up a scoop and score. Like, this is fun stuff. Like, look at another angle here, running around. Like, this is good content that you got to enjoy. And another thing here, as we go back to getting my beautiful mug on the screen. Also, you guys got to love the flow I got going on, right? I'm letting it go. I'm going for it. I'm kind of just I'm letting the hair go more than the Lakers are letting their team go. Skycam has been great. I love it. Locker room access, another aspect of the USFL where you want to be in the action, and I enjoy that a lot. They have 16 players that are getting mic'd up every single game. Because there's times, too, like you might have been watching the NBA playoffs and you saw Nick Nurse and Joel Embiid that were kind of going at it. You love that kind of stuff. You love seeing Kyrie Irving getting into it with fans. But you want to know what these players are saying. And you kind of want it to be unfiltered. Because I know for me, I mean, it's so crazy. I really don't cuss. But when I go out to a field or a court, I don't know, all of a sudden I feel like I'm speaking in tongues. It's not like you don't want to hear a bunch of cussing. But in general, you want to hear what these guys are thinking and how they're interacting with each other, because there's been some tussles on the sidelines, and you want the drama. And you can get the drama with guys mic'd up. But another aspect of this is, I don't know if we have people out there, whether listening or watching, you watch tennis. And they got a ball tracker to see if that shot was going in or out, did it hit the line? Because right now, in the NFL, remember years ago when they had an index card to try to figure out if there was a first down? Like with all the technology we got in the world, we got more technology in an iPhone than technology we had in the spaceship that went to the moon. And you're telling me we can't do some sort of ball tracker to find out with technology if there's a first down or not? Check this out. So this tweet here shows the ball tracking for first downs. And so once again, this is from the USFL official Twitter account. So it talks about first down measurements. They're more accurate than ever because that's what we want. So what I was saying earlier with tennis, that's what they have there too. It is so difficult to be an NFL referee and try to get this and figure out exactly where the ball is at. They do a fairly good job spotting the ball. And then now that you have this technology, I feel like it makes it way more fun. And a big thing too to figure out, will the USFL last? Viewership. So this last weekend, which was pretty crazy, they had viewers were able to tune in on Fox, NBC, and stream on Peacock. And they did fairly well. They probably did way better than most award shows that you guys are watching right now. So the inaugural game of the USFL between the New Jersey Generals and the Birmingham Stallions was a great success. We're going to show that tweet right now of how they had about 3 million viewers. At one time, they had pretty close to 3.5. And that's what they're saying at the bottom there, too, with nearly 3.5 million viewers. That's a big success because I was saying, too, there's so many different options for people to watch. This game itself was the first sporting event to broadcast on 2 competing networks since the Super Bowl in 1967. You got a lot of different options here. And I think the USFL, what they need to do to last, as I'm wrapping this up, is the competition needs to be solid. People need to watch these games and not only have these innovative angles and feel like you're inside the action and you're getting an up-close and personal look at what's going on as a football player. Because sometimes, too, people watching, you might have not played high-level football, so you can't even relate to these guys at all. But if you feel like you're in the huddle, if you feel like you're in the locker room, you feel like you're a part of that scoop and score, that's going to entice you a little bit more. But 3 out of the 4 games ended with within a touchdown. And most of the games, too, during that opening weekend were usually within a touchdown margin. That's what you want to see. Betting. If the USFL wants to last, and something that I enjoyed with the XFL was the betting aspect. What is the over-under? What's the spread? Have that be a part of your broadcast and figure out exactly what you can do to make sure people are spending money. And people need to spend money, and that's where a lot of times, too, betting is allowed people to jump into a game and feel like they have a connection to this game and something at stake. Literally, you got your money on the line, your hard-earned money, and you can be enticed to watching a game or keeping up with a player because you're spending your money. That's something they need to incorporate more. This part, too, you need solid quarterback play. So Jordan Ta'amu had a fairly good career in college football. He's one of those guys that he's got some name recognition. He did okay. I mean, he was right around 50% passing. I think the majority of quarterback play was around 60%. I think it was around 61% completion rating. And there was a lot of interceptions, and the quarterback play was fairly subpar. So you want to watch these guys play and then maybe get a shot with the NFL, because that's what happened with some guys in the XFL. But right now, I know we mentioned it a little bit earlier, but producer Dom's going to jump in here. And speaking of quarterback play, what is your hot take here for quarterback play, and maybe going off of what Jake and I just talked about?
Look, Jake Crane, I got a little bit of a beef with you here. You took my spicy hot take. Ultimately, though, I do agree with you. If Colin Kaepernick wants to be in the league, the perfect opportunity is to play in the USFL. However, I'm a man of many hot takes, John, so I'm going to go with this. I'm going to switch up this take here. If the NFL – actually, no, let me rephrase this. Within a year, the NFL – will take all of these cool things that you've talked about in the USFL, the sky cam, the helmet cam, and add that to their production in order to compete with the USFL. So I'm looking forward to this USFL, but we'll see if the NFL ends up taking any of their cool ideas.
Ooh, spicy hot take with Dom. Appreciate it. Let's go. I know. I was thinking that when Jake Crane brought that up, producer Dom, I was like, uh-oh, he's stealing the limelight. He's bringing up what you were talking about. But I think the NFL, there's no competition here. It's like basically saying there's one little part of that, Dom, that I feel like I would not agree with is if the USFL gets adopted by the NFL, it's basically just a feeder. They're not going to directly compete because they're playing in spring ball, basically, and that's what you want. You just want some more football. People are dying for more football. They want to know what's going on with free agency. They want to know what's going on in these players' personal lives. But, Dom, I definitely agree when it comes to maybe the NFL pulling an Instagram. You remember when Vine was big? Maybe the best 6 seconds of your life, people? And then Instagram decided, oh, maybe we should just not just be pictures. Maybe we should get into video. There is going to be aspects of the NFL is going to adopt these things, especially with first down tracking. They're gonna start incorporating this stuff. You've seen players that are more mic'd up in the MLB. You're seeing more access to players and coaches and teams in general. You got Hard Knocks. People want the inside scoop. They're going to start taking bits and pieces of this. But there's other aspects where I don't think the USFL is going to last when the XFL comes back. The XFL, I thought, had such a clean, powerful, fun, dramatic product that had really good players and, once again, great coaches. So I think we had the AAF, and then we had XFL that got screwed over by COVID. I think a lot of people were starting to get into the XFL and it got screwed over by COVID. Now you got the USFL, and when the XFL comes back, that's going to be the league that you want to watch. USFL, I think it's going to have a solid little run. I think they got good people working on this, but I don't know if that's going to come up to like some sort of adoption between the two leagues. Maybe they can compete against each other. I don't know, but from what I've watched so far, I've enjoyed it. And I kind of hope I'm wrong, people. But when the XFL comes back, and they're planning on coming back in 2023, that's it. That's it for the USFL. And another part of this, too, we got the next slate of games starting Friday. And when those games start on Friday, I definitely suggest that you guys watch, because you can decide for yourself. So Friday, that's going to start at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And hopefully you don't see the special teams play that we saw this last time, because kickers, maybe like our good friend Harrison Butker can tell these guys how to make field goals, because they went 5 for 12. Yikes. But there's other options too where you score that I like in the USFL, where you got 3 different options. You can go from the 15-yard line, just do a PAT. Or you can try to get 2 points from the 10-yard line, or you can try to get 3 points going from the 15-yard line. There's other options. I think it's fun. But to the question, will the USFL last? Call me Debbie Downer. Call what you want. Nah, that ain't going to work. You like what you just saw and you want more non-woke sports talk and conversation? Of course you do. Make sure you head over to the Breakaway YouTube channel, subscribe, also hit the like button. We give you all that sports news without the nonsense. That's what you're looking for. We're also on Instagram at TPUSA Breakaway. Appreciate y'all. Go Sports.